The North Carolina Congressman, the great Mark Harris. Congressman, always good to see you. Welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be with you, Ed. Thank you for having me this evening.
You know, when the president puts it like that, how could the common sense agenda lose in the midterms?
You know, that's a great question. I mean, this has been the administration that is focused on common sense solutions. And I think that when you look at all of the issues and really stack them up, it really does come down to common sense. And that's where the American people are. And that's where I think they were back in 2024. And when you can see that he's been delivering on the promises made, promises kept, that's a good sign to me of the midterms. And I think that people are going to rally around it as we get into them.
And do you think it's helpful now to get this Epstein drama perhaps behind your party, behind the country? We want to make sure the victims are heard, obviously, but we also, like we've been talking about this for years now, and I have to ask you, since your Democrat colleague Stacey Plaskett is saying, you know, that this happens all the time, that when she was calling and texting with Jeffrey Epstein, do you, as a congressman, have a lot of constituent service where you're on the phone with convicted criminals and pedophiles? Is that a normal thing?
That's not a normal thing whatsoever. And as a freshman congressman, I've sat through a number of hearings on the Judiciary Committee, and I usually don't have any constituents that I know of that are texting me questions, and certainly don't have any pedophiles that I'm communicating with regularly that are texting me questions that I'm going to use. No, this was so far out of mainstream, so far out of the ordinary. And I just think it's a shame, quite frankly, on my Republican colleagues that we didn't finish the case last night when we had an opportunity in that vote. I was very disappointed that we did not take the steps that we had an opportunity to take last night because what she has done is egregious. And it needs to be held accountable. And I'm very disappointed that we came up short on that.
Yeah, I know you and others wanted to censure Delegate Plaskett. So we'll move forward on the common sense agenda then. The Department of Education, I mentioned the president saying he's moving forward with dismantling it. And how do you see that working? Because what I hear from him is you're going to have the left demonize and say, oh, they don't support education. He wants to get this money back to the states. He wants to get these billions of dollars to the Labor Department and elsewhere that has existing programs and not just have all this bureaucracy. Does that make sense to you?
That makes all the sense in the world. And when you stop and realize that for all of these years, at the billions and even trillions of dollars that have been poured into the Department of Education, we're just not seeing the results. We haven't seen the results for some time. And all the way back to Ronald Reagan, there has been a commitment of conservatives and Republicans to dismantle the Department of Education. And Donald Trump, again, is getting it done. And what they're doing is simply getting rid of the bureaucracy, getting rid of the waste, and all of that that's been taking place, making sure the services that are very important and the services that are necessary are going to continue to be delivered. They're just going to be assigned to different agencies that will be picking them up. And we're cutting out so much of the fat in there. And that's exactly what makes common sense. That's exactly what the American people have been looking for.
Absolutely. One other quick one on the common sense agenda. The left, as you know, is upset about what's going on in your home state there down in North Carolina, in Charlotte in particular, that ICE has really stepped up their efforts to target criminal illegal immigrants. And the Department of Homeland Security, just so people understand, has identified a number of illegal predators, one of them being Jordan Renato Castillo Chavez. He was arrested for, quote, indecent liberties with a child less than 15 years old. So my question to you is, as the Democrats want to moralize about the Epstein situation, and we obviously need justice there, why don't they give a darn about a 15-year-old girl being taken advantage of in your home state by an illegal immigrant?
Well, because they're the ones that created this problem, and President Trump is just seeking to clean it up. I mean, we had millions of people coming across the country. In fact, I just heard a report earlier today that there may be as many as 100,000 illegal immigrants in Mecklenburg County alone, which is where Charlotte is located. And the number one country they come from is Honduras. The number two country they would come from is Mexico. So again, when you look at these realities, and then when you really drill down to the facts, that are being pointed out, they are coming after the criminal element. They're coming after these. Now, unfortunately, I've got very irresponsible statements that are being made by our elected officials there in Charlotte, whether they be in city government, all the way up to the governor, that are somehow trying to breed fear, trying to breed hysteria into folks, when the reality is that they have come to remove these criminals, these bad hombres. And it's important for folks to understand that. And I've been stressing that over the last several days. These are law enforcement officers. They deserve our respect and they deserve our honor for doing the right thing and really stepping in to try to protect us.
Yeah, we've got to go, but I want to make sure I heard you right. You're saying there's an estimated 100,000 or so illegal immigrants in one county, Mecklenburg County, because we've got thousands of counties around the country. I keep hearing the Democrats saying that you're exaggerating the problem.
Well, that is what I was given was the Migrant Policy Institute has reported that.
All right, we'll check it out.
As many as 100,000. That's all I've got to go by.
Incredible.
Those figures.
Yeah, I'm not doubting the numbers. I'm saying the Democrats continue to say, hey, that this is an exaggeration and there's not that many criminals in this country. That's one county alone. I think you dramatized it very well. Congressman, thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you, Ed.